Ryan Garcia rips Terence Crawford and his beef with the WBC. He explains what Crawford did wrong in his opinion, and I will talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Ryan Garcia was a guest on Inside the Ring show, and he really spoke out on Terence Crawford. As you guys know, I've already made videos. Listen, I make videos not for myself, but for the boxing world. So you got to subscribe and keep up with what's going on. Point blank, period. I've already talked about it. Crawford got stripped with the WBC. Then they both exchanged words in terms of their side of why it happened. Crawford was basically on some F the WBC, take your goddamn belt, I don't need it, blah, 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 which a lot of people from Oscar De La Hoya to me, Boxing Ego, to Eddie Hearn all said the way you went about it probably wasn't the right way. And now add to the list Ryan Garcia. Roll the clip.
Say Crawford should have talked his talk before when he needed him. He wasn't talking like this. Now that he got the money, the cash, now I don't need WC to get me an opportunity. Now I'm gonna say, yo, fuck y'all, blah blah blah. To me, that's a little cowardice, on his part. But guess what? Only thing I don't agree with is why is it 330,000? That's what I don't like that amount. Say Crawford should have talked his talk before when he needed him. He wasn't talking like this. Now that he got the money, the cash, now I don't need WC to get me an opportunity.
Boom. So Ryan Garcia is basically saying what I've said and other people. My thing is this. I'm being real. Some people are trying to paint Crawford as like an activist or like this bloke who's a black folk hero, and he stood up for oppression and stood up to the man and he stood up to WBC. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it really wasn't Crawford standing up for, I guess, going against the system, rage against the machine, right? Is more of an agenda and almost like a battery in his back. And you're the mouthpiece for TKO and what they got going on, Turkey and all them. And that's what it really boils down to. If you need further proof, look to Errol Spence, who was in support of his man Frank Martin at the recent PBC fight, the Esau Cruz Lamont Roach fight. And he was being asked about, like, oh, hey, what do you think of Crawford beef with the WBC? To which Errol Spence was like, when I was speaking about the sanctioning bodies and the politics and the price and them having dinners at our, request, Crawford ain't say nothing, right? He was like, so I don't really know about that because how come he didn't speak up when I was speaking up, right? So that shows me that Errol Spence, this was on his mind. So he spoke about his gripes or whatever with the sanctioning bodies, right? But Crawford, during this whole time, remained silent. And other people like Andre Ward, I know for a fact Andre Ward has spoke about sanctioning fees and this. And he's talked about on his podcast. Again, Terence Crawford was very silent on the situation. So I can't give you a bunch of credit because you're late to the party and now you're getting aggressive, which coincidentally coincides with TKO and the Muhammad Ali Revival Act and the changes that they're trying to make. So for me, I got to attribute it to you're connected to them. They're connected to that. They're trying to get some stuff to the point where they can monopolize the game. They're trying to get to the point where they put out the belts, either the ring belt or the TKO belt or whatever, and they're now trying to wage war against the sanctioning bodies and undo multiple decades or century of like boxing and boxing history and lineage, right? And they're trying to undo it and rewrite it to the point where, like the UFC, only their belt matters. No other belt matters in the sport of boxing. It's all about their belt. And to me, Crawford is just a pawn in that game, point blank, period. So I noticed, because a lot of people like Crawford, that they're looking at it with the rose-colored set of lenses, despite everything that I've said lines up, right, chronologically. Some people are still acting like Crawford's the Robin Hood of boxing, right, where he's just doing it for the people and he's doing it not as an opportunist, but he's doing it because he wants to embark and enact change. But it's hard for me to look at it like that when you look at the other moving parts. And Ryan Garcia pretty much is saying the same thing here in terms of why, if, like, for example, if you have a beef with the sanctioning bodies and the pricing and how they run their business, then why didn't you? I posed the question. Ryan's saying only what Boxing Ego already told y'all. That's what y'all got to realize. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. Notice the things I say, then you start hearing other boxers and trainers and stuff do interviews telling you what I've already told you from the immediate moment where it happened, right? My thing is this. If you're a man, you're a stoic, and you're a man of virtues, principle, and you will not be moved. You are a rock, right? Those things don't change. Like, the things that I'm passionate about and that I'll fight for and be a martyr for, those things, they're who I am. It runs through my veins, my blood. You know what I mean? So it don't matter if it's 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and so on and so on. This is who I am. So you're not going to see me act one way this year and in the next year act brand new if it's something that I believe in and I'm passionate about and I'm against, because I would have already made up my mind that I've been against this, right? I'm against this system. We didn't get that from Crawford, right? We got a guy who happily played into their rules, fought Canelo, because here's the kicker. Like I said from the beginning, if Crawford showed this type of angst and he was begrudged against the WBC belt like he now is, talk about F your belt, I don't care, I don't need it, I am the belt. Like, he literally put out shirts that say I am the belt, right? So he's trying to create this wave. And it's kind of weird because who's going to wear an I am the belt shirt from Crawford? I mean, y'all let me know, send me fan pictures if you've seen anybody with an I am the belt. It don't even make sense for like a civilian to wear a shirt that says I am the belt. The messaging, like, you will walk through the grocery store and people will be like, what does that even mean? I am the belt. But whatever. The man got merch talking about I am the belt and all this stuff. So if you had let your intentions be known before, the WBC would have probably been like, F you, we're not sanctioning the fight, or only Canelo's eligible for the belt. You're going to stiff us. You know you're not going to pay us. We know you're not going to pay us. So we have no deal. But Crawford, opportunistic, used the situation to become 3X undisputed, just like he did 2 other times, had no problem with rankings, no problem with belts, no problem with, like, we're talking about public problems, not like, oh, you talked about it behind the scenes, because you still played the game. That's the point I'm making. You still were, versus you look at a person like Gervonta Davis. Tank Davis told you from jump, I'm not even supposed to be here. I've already made it. I don't care about the belts. I don't care about these rankings and whatever they talking about. So I can respect it because you let us know from rip you're not into the game and, you know, you're not playing the game. Crawford didn't do that. Crawford been playing the game since the game been available, and then now he's acting brand new. But why didn't you tell the WBC this beforehand? Because you used it, and then when the bill was due, you didn't want to. Like if I go to a restaurant and let's say Red Lobster, we'll just make something up, even though I don't really eat at Red Lobster. But I go to Red Lobster. If I tell them I'm going to eat your food and I don't have any money or I refuse to pay, they're not going to serve me, right? But if I go in there and the understanding is you go to a public restaurant, there's a menu with prices, you must pay for your food, then they're going to just assume you're stepping foot in our establishment. So as a result, you know the drill. You know that this is going to cost you, right? You don't just eat the food and eating the Cheddar Bay biscuits, and then all of a sudden you get the unlimited endless shrimp, you know what I mean? And shrimp scampi and all this food from Red Lobster, and now all of a sudden you don't want to pay. You know what I mean? Even if you have a dispute on the price, you could still work on the price and like maybe say, hey, da-da-da-da, and negotiate whatever you have to do. Like, hey, I'll pay you this, and then I'll be a WBC ambassador or speak at your event. I mean, I'm sure there's some middle ground. It's not for me to lay it out and figure it out for them, but I'm sure there's some middle ground before it got to the take your effing belt. I don't care. Go ahead, slap yourself. I am the belt, and this new energy that Crawford's showing. So, yeah, to each his own. He didn't want to pay. He didn't pay. He got stripped, and, you know, now people are just speaking about it. But I can't really consider Crawford as like this pioneer of the movement standing up for oppression and all that, when I believe is directly tied to TKO. You're doing their biddings. You're a mouthpiece for what they're trying to get going on, period. We unpack. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I could provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.